Hey all, welcome to ShareTrack. This is Raj here. Friends, today I'm going to do something which I promised to do in my earlier videos, new plans for the channel. That is to identify new shares that will go into a new watch list that we can call as velocity stocks or stocks that are already well established in the market. They have dividends and they have got a strong balance sheet. They have got great turnover. We're looking for those kind of companies. I already selected Amazon and proposed that in my first video. Today I'm coming to you with a bunch of pharmaceutical companies which I think are really good. I'm going to share some statistics with you, data about these companies, which is like the EPS, their yield percentage, those kind of information. And then I would request you guys to put in the comments which are the companies from these that you think we should select. And if you think one of the companies that you are keen about is not in this list but has to be here and I have missed out, you can put that also in the comment, because this is your channel and we are going to make sure that all of us collectively decide which are the companies that we are going to look at for our investment. Because first of all, we got to diversify, and pharmaceutical is analogous to genomics that we are working on, and some of them may have synergies as well. So I thought that we should include a healthy number of genomic companies. I'm thinking that we need to pick at least 3 or 4 companies from this this list, and that would give us a little bit of diversification. So with that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. Let me take you to my spreadsheet, and I'm going to talk you through the spreadsheet. So you may not see me for most of this video, but I'll come back in the end and sign out. So let me take you to my spreadsheet. Okay, friends, here is my spreadsheet that I accumulated, all these companies in here. So on the very top, I have Eli Lilly, then I have Johnson & Johnson, Novo Nordisk, Merck, AbbVie, AstraZeneca, Novartis, Pfizer, and Amgen. Now there are different ways of looking at this set of companies. Let me just sort them out, and I'm going to sort them based on EPS. So let us first look at them by EPS. So if you were to look at them by EPS, then Merck comes on the very top with an EPS of, oh, it didn't do the right thing. We have to sort the EPS from the largest to smallest so that we get the one with the highest EPS on the top. And it happens to be Amgen with an EPS of 14.83, and its current share price is 256.62. Next in line is Eli Lilly with 0.82% dividend and 7.19% EPS, the second highest EPS in this list of companies, and the share price is $548. And then we have Johnson & Johnson with a dividend yield of 2.89. It has an EPS of 4.94, and it's currently priced at $165.09. Next is AbbVie with a EPS of 4.86, a dividend yield of 4.03, and it's priced at $146.63. And then if you look at Novo Nordisk, it's got an EPS of 4.22 and a dividend percentage of 0.96, and it's priced at $185. And then comes Pfizer with an EPS of 3.76, a dividend yield of 4.47%, and a share price of 36.16. And then we have Novartis with EPS of 3.59 and dividend yield of 3.37%, and its share price is $100. And then you have AstraZeneca with a EPS of 1.99, dividend yield of 2.85%, and a share price of 67.89. And Merck with a dividend yield of 2.63%, a EPS of 1.22, and a price of $109.45. So if we were to look at this entire list by EPS, I think Amgen tops the list from an EPS perspective. And also it's pretty good from a dividend yield perspective. But if we were to take dividend yield as our major parameter, then Pfizer beats everyone else hands down. So those are the ways in which I would look at this. So I think Amgen definitely is a contender. Pfizer is also a contender, and so is Eli Lilly and Johnson & Johnson. So friends, here I have another tab in which I have got all the sorted data. so that I don't take up too much of your time. So if you look at this particular tab, the first table here shows all of these companies sorted by P by E, and the lowest P by E is at the very top, which makes Pfizer the most attractive company if you had to look at it from a P by E perspective, followed by Amgen at 17.3, Novartis at 28.09. The most expensive is Merck at 89.71. And if you were to look at it from the point of view of EPS, which is the company that gives us the biggest, highest EPS, then Amgen tops it with 14.83, followed by Eli Lilly at 7.19, and the worst performer is Merck at 1.22. And then if we were to look at dividend percentage, Pfizer is at the top at 4.47% yield, and followed by AbbVie at 4.03, and Eli Lilly comes at the very bottom at 0.82%. And then if you look at the operating margin, how efficient the company is, Novo Nordisk is at the top with 39.02, followed by Pfizer, followed by Amgen very, very closely. So Pfizer at 34.61 and Amgen at 34.39. And then Merck drops significantly from there, almost 7%. So it goes to 27.73. The worst performer here is Novartis. So if I was to look at the companies out here, I think I would prefer to look at Pfizer because it's topping out here. It's also topping in this parameter, and it's topping in this parameter. Operating margin is high, dividend is also high, and also it is topping in terms of P by E. The only place that it doesn't is the EPS, where it is ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. It's ranked 6th in EPS. It's ranked number 1 in P by E, ranked number 1 in dividend, and number 2 in operating margin. So Pfizer definitely makes the cut. The next one that makes the cut, in my opinion, is Amgen, because Amgen, if we look at it, it's number 2 in P by E, and if we were to look at the EPS, Amgen is number 1 in EPS, and if we were to look at dividend percentage, Amgen comes at number 3, but it's not too far from, it comes at number 4, but it's not too far from number 3, Novartis, which is at 3.37%, and Amgen is at 3.31%. So that's not a very big difference. And then if you look at operating margin, again, Amgen comes in at number 3. Very, very small difference between number 2, Pfizer at 34.61, and number 3, Amgen at 34.39. So Pfizer and Amgen definitely make the cut. And the next one that I'm looking at out here could be, the third one becomes a bit difficult, because if we look at Novartis, let us check out Novartis. Just going to use a different color out here. Novartis at 28.09 is really good from a P by E perspective, but from a EPS perspective, it's not done that well. It's among the bottom 3. However, from a dividend perspective, it gives a good yield of 3.37%. So again, here it looks good. And Novartis is at the very bottom when it comes to operating margin. So I would definitely not look at Novartis. So I'm just going to restore it back to where it was. So let us skip Novartis. Next, let us look at AbbVie. AbbVie is doing very well in P by E, and AbbVie is good in EPS as well, and AbbVie is good on dividend as well. But AbbVie's operating margin is the bottom 3, so it doesn't look good out there. But let's look at Johnson & Johnson, which is doing good with the P by E at 33.42%. So I like that one. And it's got an EPS of 4.94, so I like that as well. And it has got a dividend percentage of 2.89, so that still looks good. And it's got an operating margin of 22.88. So I think in the third spot, I would like to put Johnson & Johnson. So these are the 3 companies I would recommend. And I think I would like the community to put your comments in the in this video and let me know which are the companies you would select. Do you agree with me about the first 2 companies and Johnson & Johnson as the third? So put your comments there. And if you think that there is a company that you would like to see in here, which is in big pharma, and it's a good company with decent revenues and good EPS, and it's paying dividends, then put the name there. I'll definitely consider that. We need 3 companies from this area, which is very synergistic to our genomics sector. And we want to diversify. The reason I'm introducing the new watch list is, first of all, it's going to give variety in our channel. It's also going to give us diversification, and we'll have a much better exposure to the market, because risk management is important, diversification is important. I've already suggested Amazon as the first company out there, and 3 of these companies from this list should definitely make the cut. Or something that you suggest in the pharma industry or biotech industry that we can incorporate here, which has got good fundamentals. So with that, my friends, I would like to bring this video to an end. Of course, before I go, I'd like to suggest that if any of you want the spreadsheet, just write to me. Go to our website, which is sharetrek.com, and write to me from there, and I'll get your email address that way, and I'll send you the spreadsheet so that you can play around with it and write back to me. So that's all for now, my friends, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye for now.